Dewo, good morning to you. What a special day this is. This day is the celebration of Father's Day. Now, maybe you have missed the introduction of this program today where I showcased some really important fathers in our lives. And I just want to play it again. So that all of you, they will father, Martin Lewis, you're a dad. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. This was my co-host is not with us today, obviously, because this is Father's Day. So he's just getting a bit spoiled today. So we're letting him enjoy his Father's Day. And I thank all the fathers who have joined us right now. Let me play that video again because I think it's important that you see the video dedicated to the dads, you wonderful, wonderful souls. So let me play that again. I'd like to play that again. I hope you enjoyed that little video acknowledging how wonderful you are to us. I just felt it was important to have this little discussion today. But before we get started, let us just offer some prayer to our fathers who continue to toil. Chineke, Obasidelu, Olodumare, Tamonajinya, Mikatonda, Enyemi Nkosi, Uvuzilele, Chineke nwa ha niile dị iche iche. God with the different names. Bika na arịọ gị kelere ndị nna anyị. Lepara wenya. Ask you to please watch over our fathers. Keep your eyes on them. Ọrụ ha na-arụ awụghị ihe ntakịrị. The work that they do is not easy. Ụmụaka na-elepara ha anya. Ụmụaka na-ele ha anya. Ihe ọbụla ha hụrụ nna ha mere, ha ga-eme. The children watch what their fathers do. And whatever the father does, the child wants to do. And so we ask you to direct their minds so that they do the right things by their children, by their families. We want you to honor, we want you to bless those fathers who hang around, if I may use that expression. Those fathers who know that it is their responsibility to be in the lives of their children. Chineke, we thank you for them. We ask you to continue to bless them. We ask you to continue to lead them. We ask you to continue to let them know how important, how relevant they are in the lives of their children, in the lives of their family. A man is so important. Some of them don't know it, Chineke, but we want you to remind them how blessed we are to have them in our lives. For those mothers who have no fathers in the home and they're playing the roles of fathers, we honor you through the soul of your fathers because you are a reflection of your own fathers. For all the little boys who look up to their fathers and all the little girls who look up to their fathers, consider yourself blessed. Continue to honor your parents. Continue to honor your father. Give him the respect that he needs. Thank him when he does for you what he's supposed to do. Never be rude to your father. And then on Father's Day, come and say Happy Father's Day. Chineke, we ask you to touch all the children so that they understand the influence that their fathers have and that they must give their fathers respect. And that the fathers also have to give their children respect. For those fathers who stay home, who work very hard and toil to put food on the table, we thank you. Chineke, we thank you for them. For those fathers who want to help, who want to do the best they can, but they can't do as much as they can. Help them with whatever they can. Thank you, Chineke, for this wonderful spirit, this wonderful soul called called Father. Thank you for them. We're grateful for them. We love them, and we will continue to be so grateful for this wonderful blessing called Father. Unu jisike abọbụla unu nọ, Chineke nọ unu nso, nọ unu n'akụkụ, nọ unu n'isi, nọ unu n'azụ. Wherever you are, a divine mind is in front of you, behind you, beside you, above you, leading you through the maze of this wonderful and difficult position you hold in life. And that is that of a father. Thank you, Chineke. And thank you, fathers, for being there. That is my prayer for you today. This program actually is supposed to be for you to talk about your fathers, for you to share beautiful messages, beautiful information, whatever it is you learned from your father. Share it, post it, and I'll be sure to share it. I like to talk about one of my favorite men, obviously, my dad. My dad was a wonderful spirit. My dad was not sexist at all. My dad saw the beauty in every child, the strength in every child, and promoted every child, no matter if you were female or if you were male. And I think I got a lot of strength from that. My father, who used to take me outside every morning, very early in the morning, around 5 a.m. in the morning, and he'll tell me to watch the sunrise. Because the only thing greater than me was the sun. And unless somebody is the sun, they cannot tell me that I'm not good enough. In other words, the definition of power comes through me. It's already in there. And my father sought for me to know this. The other person that I really, really admire tremendously, my husband. I've never seen a man who never finds time to rest, always going about trying to do what's best for the family, always working around the house, always fixing it. I've got to tell you honestly, my children have never had to pay money for anything in this house because he always took care of it. Always there. We've been married. This is going on 41 years, and he hasn't changed as far as that's concerned, being here for his family. And then there's my brother Yudi. I really truly admire him. I admire him because I've never seen anybody so dedicated to being a father to his son, to his daughter. That's all he thinks about. What am I going to do to make their lives better? To encourage them to climb as high as they can. He's such a wonderful father. And then my brother, who has 2 children, he's doing the best he can. But when you have a conversation with him, it's always about, what do I do? What do I do for them? There's nothing more powerful than a man who asks, what do I do? What do I do for my children? How do I impact their lives? Emeka, my brother, who has passed away, he was such a loving father. He was kind of sickly, but that didn't stop him. And the good news is he's no longer with us, but he is now a grandfather of two boys. I say he is still active in the spirit world, still making sure that his legacy continues. Emeka Onyoha, Chwaja Emeka Onyoha. He left us a few years ago at the age of 36. He died rather young, but he has a legacy. He has 2 beautiful sons and a wonderful daughter that he left behind. I think about my son-in-law, Matt Lewis. Every time people talk about, mother-in-laws and they are in-laws and their sons-in-laws or daughters-in-laws and all that stuff. This young man, Matt Lewis, I've never seen anyone so dedicated to taking care of his sons. He has 2 boys. He will give his life for those boys. Always there. His eyes just light up. His eyes just light up when he talks about his sons, Amoha and Ikenna. You see, when fathers build memories, see how you treat your child as a father, ultimately, that's how they're going to treat their own children. So it's so important to have a father who loves his kids. It's so wonderful for that to happen because you can see that those children will be loving fathers. Never assume that what you do is inconsequential. Never assume that, because it's so consequential. And for those who think that they have to have money to be a father, no, you don't. You really don't. And that's nice. But what's important is the time you devote to your children. There are kids who will give up money if they could just have time with their fathers. There's a song, I would like to dance with my father again. That's a beautiful song. In that song, it wasn't talking about how much money the father had. I was talking about just one more opportunity to be with my father. If you have a father who loves you, don't take him for granted. There are so many who don't have fathers. There are so many who don't have fathers who will trade places with you in a heartbeat. I read, I think I posted something on my Facebook page today, and I made it as a joke, but the fathers is a public announcement where the fathers are saying what they want today. Breakfast in bed, they want to watch their sports. And then after watching the sports, then they want some snacks. And they just listed a whole lot of things they would like. I said, well, we're going to leave the house and let you enjoy all of that, all that food and everything, all the delicacies you want today. All the ingredients is in the refrigerator. You go ahead and cook, and after you cook, be sure to clean up. But I was just being funny. Truly, if you can do that, do it. I prepared breakfast this morning. The only problem, I prepared breakfast this morning for my husband. He says he just wanted a simple breakfast, so he didn't want to eat heavy, which is okay. It's their day. Whatever it is they say they want for their day, that's what you have to do. Cook. That's a good time to cook. Let him eat, feed him. Give him something that he wants, something that makes him happy. Particularly when you have a husband who's been working very hard. Take the time and prepare something nice that he will love, something that he will remember and talk about for weeks. It is their day after all. So I want to hear, yes, Nosferatu says, Matt is the best father that Amma and Kenna could ever ask for. I said that, that's right. I've seen him in action. I've seen the thing about your husband is that he doesn't really go anywhere. The only place he goes is if it involves his boys. That's how much he loves his children. There are such fantastic fathers out here, just like that. I know fathers, I remember during the Nigerian Biafran War, my father had to ride a bicycle that had no wheels. Let me say that again. It had no wheels. And he used to travel. There was no food. I mean, in the whole village, there was no food. My dad would get on that old rickety bicycle and he will ride. He will ride wherever he could go to find some yams or maybe rice or a few little edibles. He did all of that for us. And we will stand, we'll be so hungry. You remember, this is during the war. We'll be so hungry. We'll be looking out down the road to see and listening out to hear that rickety bicycle coming down the road. And we knew Dad was on his way back. He didn't really always come back with much, but it was enough for my mother was so creative. Whatever Dad brought, she found something to add to it, vegetables or whatever, to make it bigger than it is. My father was an awesome dad. He's no longer with us, obviously, but we still miss him. And he was a man who believed in letting his children know how important it was that we embrace who we are. We embrace who we are, to define ourselves. Dad knocked it in our heads like if you have a nail and you hammer it down a wood. Dad made sure we understood that we were important. Happy Father's Day, Global Faith Ministries of Chiism, Ochwaja. I know you're there. Happy Father's Day to you. I talked about you earlier. You were a powerful dad, so concerned about your children, always there. It's always all about the kids. Those are fantastic fathers. I'm telling you, if you have a dad who's devoted to you, the thing about it these days is that young people think they know everything. They know more than the elder. And of course, there's some things that young people know, of course. But there are lots you can learn from your dad. Sometimes when dads are doing what they're doing, we get in our car, we drive off, we don't pay attention. But we need to. You need to pay attention to what your father is doing. You can learn so much from him. Even the basic little things. Even the basic, like when he's fixing the lights, the socket is broken and he's fixing it. Stand there something. If he's changing the tires, don't just go back in the house and come out and ask, is the tire changed? You don't want to do that. You want to come out there and watch what he's doing. You might learn something. Fathers are so handy around the house. They're handy in everything. We take them for granted. It is such a wonderful opportunity to have a dad that's around to teach you things. But sometimes we take them for granted. I watched a video it wasn't disturbing, but it was something that had to be seen, where this father wanted to spend Father's Day with his daughter, but she didn't want to spend Father's Day with him because she had other things to do. She had to go and see a Justin Bieber show. And so she didn't want to stay with her dad. But before she could leave with her friends, the dad stopped the car, wanted to stock her car with all sorts of things. What she needs to change a tire in case the tire goes bad. What she needs to have in case they run out of food or they're stranded somewhere and they can have food to eat. He put that in the car, or at least he wanted to put it in the car. And the tide said, no, oh, Dad, you're such a pest. Go away. Don't bother me and my friends. Everything that he tried to put in the car that will help her. Never mind that she didn't want to spend Father's Day with him. But being a father, he knew that life is such that life could happen to you on your way to wherever you were going. And she still did not want to accept anything from him. She considered him an embarrassment. But he didn't think he was an embarrassment. He was a father. He was willing to be abused as long as his daughter was safe. Needless to say, she got in the vehicle and drove off with her two friends, even though the two friends were telling her, you shouldn't be rude to your father. He means well. Oh, he's such a pest, she said, until they got to a quiet, lonely road and the tire busted. And he had wanted to put a spare tire. Well, she had a spare tire, but she didn't have what she needed. to change the tire. She didn't want none of that. So the tire busted, nothing to change it. The girls in the car were hungry, nothing to eat. Everything that he had offered and she had rejected. The situation, like I said, life happens. Life happened, and she couldn't solve it. She got on her phone, and as a matter of fact, he wanted to add, he wanted to give her a charger that could help her in case her phone died. She didn't want that either. Dad was just a pest, she said. Well, the phone died. As soon as she called for road help, the phone died. But fortunately, the message got to the father that they were stranded. I'm not sure that part of it wasn't quite explained, but he had followed them as a father would. He had followed them and then found them and was able to do all of that and help them fix their tires and everything. And then he wanted them to continue on their way, but she decided, no, Dad, I think I'd rather spend Father's Day with you. When you have a father who's dedicated to you, don't dismiss him, even if they sound annoying. And yes, they may be annoying. I know. I love my dad very much, but yeah, we had moments that he was annoying to me. But don't take advantage. Don't take them for granted. Let's see. Matthew Luhu says, yes, don't take fathers for granted, because I miss and wish I could see mine one more time in life. So many questions I have on how he was such a great father and husband. Miss you, Christopher John Lewis. Rest in peace. 2/24/1951 to 9/29/2006. I feel you. It must be wonderful to have a father that you remember in those terms and wish he was here again. But the good news, of course, is your father is still there. He's no longer with you, but if you listen inwardly, you will hear him speaking with you. He's still here. You can hear him rustling through the leaves, in the thunder and the lightning. Correction, he died. He was born 1950, rather, not 1951. What kind of father are you? I want to hear from you. What makes you what makes you feel special as a father? I'd like to hear from you. What makes you feel that you're a special father? What is it that you see some fathers doing that they shouldn't be doing, or some fathers should not be doing that they are doing, or what they should be doing that they're not doing? I want to hear from you. I'd like to hear from you. I want you to type your thoughts, and we can have a discussion about it. I was also watching a video where this gentleman you probably all have seen this, where this father is in the store with a little boy. And the little boy couldn't be more than maybe about 13 months or 14 months, just barely walking. And this man is kicking him, hitting him with the door in the grocery store where the milk, in the refrigerator, and kicking him. Well, it turns out that the boy was not his child. He was his girlfriend's son. At that moment, it was disturbing to see a father. See, you don't have to be the one that birthed the child. But once you're given that responsibility, you become a father. Chineke doesn't always give us the father that birthed us. Sometimes we have a father who didn't birth us, but plays the role of a father. So, but in this case, this gentleman was beating up on this little child, and the world saw a little, maybe 13, 14-month-old child being kicked around the store. He's sliding all over the floor because it's not your son. Once you have been handed the responsibility of father, you become the father, even if you don't birth the child. Once you accept his mother, you're now the child's father. and you've got to act accordingly. We say in Chiism, Oche Chineke, ebe obele no Chineke no, wherever you are, divine mind is wherever you are. Chineke is watching what you're doing. So when you mistreat a child just because you didn't birth them, what kind of blessings would you expect from the Creator? What? And that's why I applaud fathers who take their role seriously, whether they birth the child or not. A gentleman was complaining the other day. He's a white man, and he is the father to he and his wife adopted a black boy. And people were going hard on him that he shouldn't have adopted that little black boy. After all, he's a white man. He cannot train him how to be a good black man. And yet the little boy was languishing in foster care. Where were those fathers? Where were the pertinent fathers until this couple adopted this little boy and given him all kinds of love? That's what a father is. A father doesn't care the color of the skin of the child that they have to father. They just father. They don't think in terms of what's good for them personally. They think about what's good for the child. So this man is raising a black boy and giving him all that he could give him. Of course, he can't train him to be a black man, but he can train him to be a man, a good man. And that's what matters. Then the community has the responsibility to teach him how to be a black man. And that's what exactly he said. I'm not a black man. Please help me teach him to be a good black man. By you, the community, coming in. Step in. I can't teach him to be a black man, but I can teach him to be a good man. So you, the community, you help. I say this to say it doesn't matter the color of the father or the color of the child. We must play our role no matter who we are. If you see a white child or an Indian child or Mexican child or whomsoever that's suffering, and you, a black man or a white man or Chinese man, whomsoever, if you're a father, step in. Don't waste your time worrying about the noise of the world, about the color of your skin. That's it. Chineke made all of us. I've seen cats that have taken in chickens to protect them from the rain. I've seen dogs that have taken little lambs to protect them. So fatherhood has nothing to do with the color of the father, but the heart. There are fantastic black fathers out here. You can't even talk about them. They are just absolutely ridiculously wonderful. I had one. I can attest to it. My brother Yudi, fantastic father. His children can attest to that. My husband, a fantastic father. He takes care of the needs of the children. Children can attest to that. Matt Lewis, my son-in-law, I'm sure my grandchildren would attest to their father. Fatherhood comes from the heart. I just want to just say, you don't have to birth the child. You don't have to birth the child. Many of the good fathers are here. They didn't birth these children, but they love them just as much. They love them just as much. And if you have such a father in your life, please, I cannot overstate that. If you have such a father in your life, please show gratitude. Show gratitude to our dads. This is their day. If you have something fancy you're doing today, if you want to go somewhere today, take a breather. Pick up the phone, call dad. I wish I could call my own dad. I can't. He's gone. I can call him in prayer. I can call libations. I can pour libations and remember him in that way. But instead of you getting in your car and driving away, take the time today and call your dad or go visit him. Don't just send flowers. If you're close enough that you can see him, don't send flowers. Go visit him. Take the time to go see your dad. Take the time to get on the phone and spend not 2 minutes, not just to say, oh, happy birthday, happy Father's Day, Dad, and then you drop the phone. Find out a little bit more about your dad. How you doing, Dad? What's going on in your life? Find out what's going on in their lives. You'll be amazed at some of the stresses that the dads are dealing with. And maybe your phone call or your time, the little time you invest speaking with them, can really bring a lot of smiles to their faces. So haven't you called your dad? Call him. Haven't you visited your dad? Go visit him. See, here's the thing. You don't know how important your father is until you lose him. I know that. Matt knows that. You don't know how important your dad is until he's no longer in the picture. And you know the sad part of it? That's life. It would happen. It's only a matter of time. Nobody's guaranteed to live here forever. So that father that you're ignoring today, pick up the phone. That father that has, excuse the expression, pissed you off, make up with him. Because one day you're going to say what Matt said. I wish I could speak with him again and have him answer some questions for me. That day will come. So before that day comes, celebrate that he's here. And you fathers, don't assume that misbehaving towards your children is going to bring you accolades when you become an old man. How you treat your children today will determine how they'll treat you when you become elderly. When you're no longer able to take care of yourself, when your voice is no longer, raging and you have all the power. Someday you are going to be someday you're gonna get old. Bless your soul. So love on your children while you can. And guess what? They'll love you back. They will love you back. Everything you give them, they will give back to you. 100% more. But you can't just claim the title of father and you don't offer anything to the children to have a sense of pride calling you father. There are some fathers, yes, the kids have difficulty saying dad because they don't act like dads. So if you want your children to act and call you dad, rather, if you want them to call you dad, be a dad. Take the time. Don't think, oh, it's Father's Day now. They have the responsibility to remember me on my Father's Day. Maybe they'll call you. Maybe they'll send you a card. But do they take the time to come be with you? Are they eager to come and see you? Are they eager to speak to you? It all has to do with what you do. How you act is going to make the children remember you, particularly when you're elderly. How you treat your children today will determine how they will react to you tomorrow. And it's important for fathers to know, please, it's not about money. Money is important. But the time that you give a child means a whole lot more than the money you give them. There are very rich children today who could tell you, I will give up that money and just spend time with my dad. Children who parents buy them fancy things, boats, cars, their own homes, whatever, but never have the time to spend with them. After a while, the children start losing interest in their father because that's not what's important to them. What's important is the time that you devote. It's like when we praise Chineke, when we talk to Chineke, what kind of relationship do we want to have? You know, they give, you know, maybe we get blessed with one little thing and that's it. And Chineke disappears from our lives. No, we want Chineke there all the time. Whenever we need something, we want to ask or to thank. It's the same thing. Your child wants to speak with you. Your child wants you to be there. The same thing you ask the divine mind to do for you. Believe it or not, you're the God that the children know. Everything good about the world surrounds dad and mom. But today, in particular, we're talking about dads. Everything good about life, the children see through their parents' eyes. They see through dad. So, what kind of dad are you going to be? Or are you? If you're contemplating being a dad, what kind of dad? Who are you going to emulate? Who are you going to be like? Your dad? What kind of dad was he? And it's not an excuse. If your dad was not a good father, that's not an excuse for you not to be a good father. If your dad didn't do the right things, that's some of the things you can learn too. And say, no, I'm not going to do that. It's wrong to say, well, my dad was this way, that way, I'm going to treat my children that accordingly. No. Learn from a good dad. And a dad who's not very good, don't emulate him. You put your own footprints in the lives of your children. You decide which direction you're going to go, which direction you want your children to go. Do you want your children to be good dads? Then stop cursing in front of them. Stop having your pants hang down to your knees. Stop beating up on your wife. Fatherhood is not just a title. It's a position that others emulate. The little ones emulate. And sooner or later, they're going to be like you. Whatever you do, there's a few little eyes watching. And ultimately, what will happen is they will emulate you and be just like you. Happy Father's Day to the greatest African that ever lived. Happy Father's Day to I Kamakeo Konyoha, my father that is. Yes, UD. Ahai. Yes, he was the ultimate father. It was the ultimate. He was the ultimate father in every way, giving us pride in ourselves, demanded that we expect to do well in life. He didn't say, I want you to be. He wants you to, he expects you to believe that you can go beyond the boundaries of our humanness. Become unlimited. That was my dad. Somebody says here, can you explain what you mean by white man is deep off in the relationship with what? With our kids? The white man is deep off in the relationship with, I'm not sure. You have to rewrite that, Matt. I'm not getting that question. Jamil Clark writes, here in Africa, the white man is deep off in the, oh, I see what that, this is what it is. Here in America, the white man is deep off in the relationship with our kids. And there exists a great chasm between the black man and woman when it comes to children in America that all boils down to money. Children are secondary. If I understand this communication here, this comment here, it has to do with the fact that the black man and the woman, when it comes to their children, it has to do with money. Children are secondary. Well, perhaps in some families, but I do know that in a lot of African American families as well, you know, there's a lot of love for our children. Okay, there's a lot of love for our children. And yes, money can be quite a problem because we live in a country that focuses on money. Okay, they focus on money. And that becomes the yardstick for most of our relationships. If you don't have money, then, you know, you're bitter half the time, you're angry half the time. And that, you know, that translates to inadequacy, and then you get into bouts of anger with your woman who may feel that she's cheated because you don't have money, or I'm not sure what all that is about. But bottom line is, I agree with Jamil that money can become more important than children, which is sad, which is very sad, because here's my thing. If money is more important to you, then don't have children. Don't have children. Focus on making money. Until you've made enough money, then you can consider children, But to have these kids and they are secondary to you, then that means they're not going to be getting exactly what they need, to be to become productive citizens, because you're not spending the time to teach them. You're spending more time thinking about things as irrelevant as money. Because when all is said and done, money is really irrelevant, in the whole scheme of things. I don't care how much money you make, you're not going to be buried with it. I've never known a rich man that went into his that he placed in his coffin with his bank vault. He has his suit, his hand is on his chest, maybe he has a few little rings or whatever. Maybe they even built him a Mercedes coffin, whatever. He's not taking that with you. So you're not taking your money with you. Good to make it, but you're not taking your money with you. But what nobody can take from you, because quite frankly, all that money will be taken from you. Either your children get it, or the courts get it. Somebody's going to get that money, and it's not going to be you. You're not taking it with you. But your name lives in perpetuity based on what you do with what you do for the community, and also what you hand to your children. So I'm not quite here in America. The white man is deep off in the relationship with our kids. So that part I didn't quite get. So perhaps you can rewrite that a bit. Let's see who else has something to say. Oh, Nwokedi Charles, welcome. I didn't know you were here. Nwokedi says that I lost my dad when I was 12. I miss him so much. Oh my God, to be 12 years old and not have your dad, that is definitely a heartbreak. That's a heartbreak, because that's for a male child, that's formative years. That's a very important time of his life. That's a cross between being a child and becoming a teenager, and so much is going on in his mind, in his body. He needs somebody to talk to about it. And the person, particularly a dad, is not there. So it's a very trying time. So I hear you, Charles. I hear you. I know it must have been difficult for you. And but the good news is, I hope that you had some fathers who stepped in on behalf of your dad. And because I've got to say, you lost your dad, Charles. You lost your dad when you were a child, but you have become such a wonderful man. I mean, from what little I know about you, you're so conscientious. You write very well. You speak well, and you seem to be devoted to other people, the needs of your community, and your mind is together. So either what he left you while you were 12 still lingered on into adulthood, or perhaps somebody stepped in and did a wonderful job in raising you. Because, young man, I think you're a very fine young man. Very fine young man. I'm so proud of you. Now, Udeme Zonyohan says, I miss all the wonderful years I spent driving dad all over Nigeria after graduation from high school. The wisdom that was imparted into me, listening to him speaking with me about Pan-Africanism is gold. Miss you, Dad. Yes. Oh my God. You can, if you go anywhere with my dad, you learned so much. You learned so much. Dad made it a point of duty. He almost saw it as his responsibility to make sure that you know what others will not teach you. That's what Dad did. Everything that he thought you should know, he took the time. Dad never spent time going to parties and all that. He was always with his family. Always with his family, always teaching, always teaching, always teaching. He was a fantastic man. And you know, UD, I have to say that it's your day. You're not on the show today because it's your day and we're letting you enjoy your day. You are turning out to be just like that. And your son talks to me. I had one time I took him out to get something to eat and, at the mall. And it was just so beautiful what he said to me about his dad. He says, I just want to make my dad proud. My dad believes in me and I just want to make him proud. Your son loves the hell out of you, excuse the expression, because of the time you devote to him, all the things you're sharing with him, just exactly what dad shared with you. And you're building his wisdom, his sense of wisdom, to be so young. He's 18 years old, and when you talk to him, it's amazing. He just talks like an old man, and I believe that he's learning obviously a lot from you, just like you learned from dad. And dad never stopped talking about you driving him around because you you made a lot of things possible for him. So yes, I agree with you. Let's see. Marty says, I really wish I would have been able to have met him. Met your grandfather-in-law. Absolutely, you would have loved him. Nobody, everybody was special. Everybody was special to dad. There was nobody was less than he was. Everybody was the greatest African of the 20th century. Everybody, he made everybody feel so good. And that's a wonderful dad. And then that makes you, as a grown person, want to be like that. You want to make people feel good when they come around you, because you learned that from your dad. And that's the importance of shall I say daddyhood. Charles said, my mother abandoned I and my sister when I was not up to 2. Well, you know what? Your dad was in you, Charles. Your dad was in you. And like I said earlier, you have turned out to be such a wonderful young man. So he's in there. Your mother, I don't know where she is today. I hope she's still alive, because if she's still alive, she would see the wonderful man that she left behind. But he turned out to be just fine. So you're fine. You're fine, Charles. We're proud of you. I talk about you all the time. So your dad was working with you in spirit. You just didn't see him, but he was working with you in spirit. And your kid sister, having you as a big brother, you're literally like her father now, So you just do right by her and you'll be just fine. Bless your heart. Bless your heart. Boy, you've had some challenge in life, but and that's the one thing, some people have challenging lives, but they still turn out okay. I love my dad. He was a very kind man. That's good. Now, that's probably why you're so kind, Charles. That's why you are the way you are, So, I mean, this is a lesson to all of us, we live when we're no longer here, even if we died early, if you die early, if you did the right things while you were here, your children will still turn out okay. So it'll be good for your dad to know wherever he is that you turned out okay, Charles. I think you did. I think you did. Let's see. Who's this? Yeah. Happy Father's Day to our role model. Okay. Yeah, he was. He was. I was such a role model. There was nowhere. As a matter of fact, I used to remember he had a very special horn in his car. So whenever we'll come home to the village, and he'll play that, he'll get on that horn, everybody in the village knew that he was there. KOK. All he has to do is press on that horn and everybody screamed KOK, because he was that special. He was a father to us, but he was also a father to the community. The father to the community. I'm still waiting for okay, let's see. You just say, wish I were on the show. However, I'm enjoying breakfast in bed right now, and that's golden. That's right. That's why you're not on the show. We're talking about you. It's your day. Just save me some of that food. Maybe I can come and sneak some and enjoy with you. But hey, your wife is such a special lady. I know she's spoiling you today. I know you. Probably you're going to get some soup, your favorite thing, okra soup or whatever. Enjoy it, enjoy. That is your day. It's up to you. It's your day to enjoy. It's your day to enjoy. Yeah. So let's see. Let's see. I also the other day I was walking with my dog, and I ran across this gentleman. The dog was much bigger than the little boy, but at that time I wasn't thinking about Father's Day, but it just happens to come to me right now. So this little boy is struggling with this big dog, and the father quite easily could have just said, "Okay, hand me the reins, come on, let's go." But he said, even though the dog was pulling the boy, he kept telling the boy, "Remember, you are in charge. Just tell him to heel, tell him to heel, tell him to sit." And even as big as the dog was, the little boy is really struggling with this dog. But the father was determined that he will get control of the situation. But he knew that if he took over, that boy would never learn how to be in control. So by not taking the dog from the young man, he was able to help him control that dog. This is what fathers do. They teach. They teach. And if you're a father, pay attention. What are you teaching? What has anybody learned from you today? Don't let today just be a day to just celebrate you. Remember what the title is. You are father. That means somebody is supposed to be celebrating father today. So even if they don't call you dad, if your child doesn't call you, get on the phone. Call. Because sometimes some kids are working so hard. Now, there's no excuse. I grant you, there's no excuse for any child to forget this day. This is an important day. And if I was a father, I'll make sure that you don't forget that this is Father's Day. But sometimes some kids may forget, at least early in the morning. Maybe they've worked long hours and they just got home and they are not able to, they haven't gotten to call you. Don't assume that they're being mean-spirited or anything like that. Perhaps you need to check on them, because for the most part, I'm sure most children will call their father on Father's Day. But if for whatever reason they didn't call, then take the time and call. Remember Chi and Eke. Today we celebrate the male energy of Chi. Chi is the male energy of the Creator. The masculine, not male, the masculine energy of the Creator. Call upon that energy today. Pour libations as a man today. Call upon the energy of Chi to guide you. Call upon, you see, as a man, as a man who understands that you walk with Chineke, Monachiso. If you walk with Chineke, know one thing. As a man, as a dad, there's nothing that you want that you cannot have. There's nothing you want for your family that you cannot have. You can have anything you want. And I'm not talking about the big fancy stuff, the basic things. And one of those basic things is your time. There's nothing that they need from you that they cannot have, but you have to be prepared to give it. What is that need? Just your time. There's nothing more powerful than you. To them, you're the ultimate human being. All they want from you is your time. If you don't have money, I say, just because you don't have money does not make the devil out of you. Just give your time. Take them for walks. Run down the slope with them. Do a little jig with them. Do whatever. Just give them your time. That is the most crucial thing that a father can give a child. And the other thing is, teach them. I just wanted to throw this in. Teach them how to manage money so that money does not become an issue for them when they grow up. Teach them how to manage more money. This is a simple little thing that a father can do for the children. You know, some people say, oh, don't give them what do you call it, don't give them money, what's the word for that, you know, every week. Give them something every week, not for them to spend, but this is how you can train them how to appreciate money and how to spend money wisely. So get an envelope every week. I don't care how grown your child is. Well, of course, it depends on, once they're old enough, then they should make their own money. But when they're little, get an envelope. Put so much money in it. Maybe $5 a week, maybe $20 a week. Then teach them how to manage that money. Let them write out of that money that you've given them, what are they going to use it for? Don't spend willy-nilly. You have just so much money, so you have to budget accordingly. There's so much you can do for your child that you must not focus on how much money you don't have, because that's not too important. Your time, the time that you spend, is really how you are a father. The time that you spend with your child. So spend some time today. Yes, it's your day. It's your special day. But after this special day, remember, the only reason why they're celebrating you is because of the kind of dad you are. So celebrate today. It's your day. But starting tomorrow, take the time and invest as much time as you can, either physically or on the phone, by any means necessary. Let them know now that you love them and that you're important, and so they will continue to honor you as their father. Happy Father's Day, all my brothers and sisters. I mean, all my brothers, both at home, here in America, wherever you are, my friends' husbands, my Facebook friends, all of you. And for those of you who are yet to be fathers or don't want to be fathers, but you are a mentor to somebody, have a happy Father's Day. Love always from Chiism Live. Thank you and have a good day. Yagazie. Oh, you know what? I was going to, I have to remember, please, before I go. I want to thank Nwokedi Charles Ugochukwu, Udemezu Onyoha, Matthew Lewis, Jamil Clark. I want to thank Nosferatu, and let's see who else. I want to thank. I think it's Oak Box, K.O. Miri, Cool King Boy, etc. Thank you all for joining us today. It's always a pleasure to have you in the forum, and I hope that you enjoyed the presentation today. Okay, have a wonderful, happy Father's Day. So it is. Give me a sec.